It's Christmas. It's Christmas. It's Christmas. It's Christmas. It's Christmas. It's Christmas! Have a little Christmas, it is really Christmas. Hello everyone and welcome to the original Hugh. This is my channel, it's Christmas Day. No it's not, it's got a week away. I don't know what happened there, I do apologise. Christmas just gives me a seizure, I guess. Well, welcome to my channel. As I said in the intro, I am the original Hugh and thank you for joining me. This will probably be my last video of 2020, so I thought I have a big schnauzer. I'm gonna paint a Christmas tree on it. Why not? Why not make the most of my assets? And you know, we'll just have like a little wrap-up conversation. I mean, 2020 has been kind of a crazy year. Let's start painting and talk about it. Now, of course, this channel has become half makeup review for some gay reason. Christmas time, let's go for someone less controversial. So I've got that James Charles palette, which I spent money on, which I really shouldn't have had. But, you know, I did it, and we're here. It's Christmas, so obviously some of the shiny ones, and we're doing a Christmas tree on my schnauzer, so therefore we need various greens, I guess. To begin this, let's create like a base. So I've got this expensive concealer, so you know, this is a really good time, but you know, let's just get like a pale base going. See, look, my nose is absolutely a perfect shape for a Christmas tree. Whatever, 2020. Okay, so we're obviously going to take a green. Figured it makes sense that we just start with like a light base. So I will go for this light green color here. What shade name is this? Really? So apparently I'm going to be taking shade Social Blade on my face. Now that I've seen the shade names, I'm really happy I did not choose a darker green because I would have said I'm putting Daddy all over my face. Choice names, James Charles. When did James Charles become Jeffree Star? So yeah, so let's talk about 2020. So this year was really weird for me because I started off 2020 in a different country. I was in Bolivia. I was suffering from major altitude sickness. Yeah, it's the highest capital city in the world, and the altitude sickness really hit me. Like, I was there for, I think, yeah, the eve of New Year's Eve. I was there New Year's Eve, then New Year's Day, and then I think I left the day after New Year's Day. And I literally remember New Year's Eve and I basically passed out. Oh, my nose is green. Hello, Shrek. And I basically passed out at like 10 o'clock at night with an oxygen mask on my face to help with the altitude sickness. And I just woke up the next day and was like, oh, it's New Year. Okay, sure. Okay, so, no, we still need more. We need more. God, I'm digging into this color. So yeah, and I was on holiday. I was doing an internship in Argentina, which, if any of you guys have watched some of my other videos, I've mentioned that. So I was in Argentina and I had 2 months off for holidays. So all of December and all of January, basically. And I decided to travel a bit of South America because I'm there, why not? And I do remember on the news hearing early reports about coronavirus around this time, and it was just like, oh, who knew what was gonna happen, I guess. Then after I was in Bolivia, I went to Peru for about a month and I did volunteering with dogs and it was so cool. I miss those dogs so much. I will insert pictures, absolutely. I honestly really hope they're doing good. I became really attached to one of the dogs and his name was Toffee. He was amazing, he was so nice. I really hope he's okay. I hope they're all okay. Okay, how's that nose looking? So we've got some good green. Got some good green going on. I think I am gonna have to take Daddy because I need to create some shadows because like I'm gonna draw the pot here in my little Cupid's bow. So after my month in Peru, I went back to Argentina and it was quite strange because in my internship, like the first like 5-6 months I was doing my internship, I actually felt really useful. Like I felt I had a purpose there. And then when I came back from my travels, they had hired new staff and I just suddenly felt very redundant, like I didn't really have much to do, and it was quite sad because all of a sudden I went from having like a lot of purpose in my internship to just sort of being like, why am I here? What the fuck have I done? Whatever. And yeah, and then there's not really much to say. Like, I mean, coronavirus happened and where I was working just basically sort of shut down. My manager was kind of like, oh, just treat this like an extended holiday. But I was just like, I had nothing to do. So I made a very like last minute snap decision. And I was just like, is it cool if I quit and go back to the UK? So I asked my boss on like a Monday and I flew out back to the UK on Wednesday and I had to fly through Spain to get home. And this was when Spain was like seriously on quarantine and like lockdown and people were literally just stay in your homes or you get arrested. Like it was very intense and I was like flying through that. I mean, I didn't leave the airport, but you know what I mean? It was just a very like intense sort of feeling being in Spain. And I think a lot of people were feeling that way. And right now I feel like a monster. What is going on? Okay, so what should I do now? I think I need to sort of define this a bit more. So I've got a define brush, shall we say? Yeah, so I came back to the UK. Seeing my dog was amazing. I came home and I managed to convince my mum to stay away from the house. So I had like my mum's house all to myself. It was great because like I was finally like in a functional large kitchen. I could cook, I could bake, I could finally do all this and just enjoying like free time. I just had these 2 weeks where I could just like chill. So I did. I tried to make empanadas one night and I threw up. I was like violently vomiting everywhere. And I called my ex and like we weren't like defined as being in a relationship, like, you know, official, but like we were like monogamous. But I guess it was still just like dating even though it was like a while. I don't regret that moment of weakness. Like I was very drunk. I ate empanadas that were probably not cooked, so I had food poisoning. So it was kind of violent, and I was thinking about that specific person today as well, and I like shut off my social media because I just needed like a day away from my social media to not like think or to like look at their profile, and just because they're in another relationship, so it's kind of stupid to do that. Like, yeah, like don't hearken on old relationships. But we do it because we're vulnerable, so whatever. I mean, I hope all of you guys were okay during the initial lockdown period and the subsequent periods of uncertainty that we face. Today was announced about tier 4 in London and some other areas, and that was why I kind of felt like, you know, today's probably the day where I should film this video idea when I came home from uni. So I was like, why not just paint my nose into a Christmas tree? Why not? I look fabulous, I look amazing, and you know this. But anyway, back to 2020. I mean, I hope any of you guys that were struggling during that time mentally or work-wise, financially, I hope things are improving or have improved for you. See, that's got good texture, like good texture. Let's go in with this dark brown. Maybe that was a bit too dark, and now I look like Hitler with a tree on his face. So yeah, there's not really much to tell of what I did during lockdown, but a lot of controversial things were going on. And I recently said to like people on my course in a group discussion that, you know, I think we can look at 2020 as a year of like pain, misery, racism being exposed on extreme levels. And, you know, that's what this year has become. Like, it's highlighted so many issues. Like, we knew all these issues have been going on. Like, we know there are still huge issues with racism in the world. We know there are huge issues with inequality for various different reasons, you know, like people of different sexes, of different sexualities, people of different races. And 2020 has highlighted this on a scale that just hasn't really happened before. And I think either we can look at this as being like a huge negative and like, let's forget 2020, or we can make this a year to remember so that we can work on it from next year. Next year, we devote ourselves to how we can solve all these issues. We need to take what 2020 gave us, all the bad, and we need to turn it into something good. I have this like teeny tiny brush. Look at that. Look at that. It won't focus, but whatever. So I'm going to try and do some baubles and tinsel. And I've got all these, look at all these like shiny shades. I mean, look at them. Look at them refract. Oh, Christmas time. Any of you guys that are still struggling or need someone to talk to, you know, don't forget there are so many people out there who want to help, who want to listen to you. I mean, I'm sure, you know, even if you feel as if you've got no one in the world and the world is closed off to you right now because of lockdown, wherever you are in the world, don't be afraid to try and reach out to someone, even if you call like a hotline. There are specific hotlines for people that are in the LGBTQ community. I think there are hotlines for specifically for women. I think I will Google hotlines for general sort of youth that struggle, people with mental health issues. Like, don't be afraid to reach out. Like, you know what, it is kind of cringy. Like, they're there to help, but the idea of just like randomly talking to a stranger on the phone, it is kind of cringy because it's really kind of like awkward, but these people are there to help and they're not going to make you feel uncomfortable or like it's a cringy situation. They just want to be there and help you. So if you're feeling not so good right now, make sure you take advantage of that. I think I'm going to be alone on Christmas Day in London, and I live in like a tiny room and I don't share this place with anyone else. Like, I live in student accommodation, but I have my own room with like a little tiny kitchen. I've got my bathroom. I will just be alone, and you know, I'm gonna reach out to people if I feel a bit sad. And it's okay to feel a bit sad. This is like a really weird, twisted year. But what I wanna ask you guys is, what do you wanna do in 2021? But like, what are you gonna do to make the next year better? Like, what have you learned from this year? Like, let me know in the comments. I feel like these are not really baubles, they're just sort of blending into some fabulous like Picasso. This is a literal Picasso. Okay, let me move my long fringe. Okay, I'm gonna try and make a star. It's kind of working. Anyway, I think one of the strangest things about 2020 for me is the fact that I started a YouTube channel. I mean, what is that? What is this? Okay, I'm gonna go off camera and attempt to make this better. Okay guys, here it is. I look like a monster. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. It was, let's never talk about this again. Please let me know how you're feeling in the comments. Don't forget to reach out to people if you're feeling bad in this time. Don't be ashamed of it either. Like, this whole situation gets to everyone, so don't worry about it. Like, just talk to people, reach out to whatever hotlines or websites or whatever, and just try and make the most of, like, the end of this year, and just let's have a better 2021. So I will see you in the new year. Take care, guys, and remember, treat yourself. It's not even symmetrical. Look at it.